DTI fam, was good, baby? Another week down, and I gotta say this week is a little bit different, actually a lot of bit different, because it is snowing in North Carolina. Not the type of energy we love, but it's not the type of thing that we're gonna let stop our energy from flowing. We are curating the energy that we want, and we are attracting the things that we want in 2025, because that's what's important. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten in a stage of life where you just fucking dwell on everything. Even like the meals you cook, the way you sleep, the clothes you have, the way they fit you, friends, family, like you just compare and dwell. Like that season of life, we just cannot let that energy into it because it does not propel us forward. And so why I say that is because it goes right along with all of the things that I've been talking about over the last weeks that these daily drive-bys have been going on. And so we talk about habit stacking, we talk about having a routine, we talk about all of these things that are like fundamental stuff that you should have in your life to make sure that you're not getting stressed, that you're not getting anxious, that you're not getting depressed. That way you're not overthinking. Like life happens and life comes and it goes and, you know, things are up and down. But we truly can dictate the way that, like the outcome of the way something goes simply by the way we look at it, the way we address it, the way we think about it, the way we talk about it. And so, you know, people ask me about work and I'm like, oh, work's great, I love it, blah, blah, blah. And I truly do. But that doesn't mean that there's not shitty days. And that doesn't mean that there's days where I just want to be like, fuck this. Like, why am I doing it? But again, what is the bigger picture? What is that going to do for me versus being like, oh, today was a bad day, but hey, you know, we're going to have a better one tomorrow. Versus being like, oh, work was so bad. And then you go on for 15, 20, 30 minutes about why work was so bad. What happens after that? Literally nothing. Nothing happens after that except heightened fucking emotions, angst, whatever it is, to the person that you were telling it to and to yourself. I don't know why my eye looks so red. But curate and talk about and complain and talk about and elaborate and talk about and fixate on the things that you want. If you want to lose weight, talk about how you're going to lose weight and make that happen. If you want to get a new job, talk about how you want to get a new job and how it's going to happen. If you want to start being physically active, talk about how you're going to be physically active. If you start running, don't talk about how you hate running. Same thing I'm trying to switch in my brain about swimming that I'm going to do right now. I'm talking about it. I'm going to get better. I know I'm going to get better. And come race day, it's going to be fine. What's going to happen is going to happen, because at the end of the day, as long as I'm checking the boxes and I'm going to do this training, then at the end of the day, it is what it is. What's going to happen is going to happen. And so I'm not going to sit here and say how bad it's going to be, how much it sucks. I'm done doing that, because it does nothing for me. It doesn't propel me in any way. It doesn't move me forward in any way. And quite honestly, it kind of just hinders me and pulls me back. My mindset is never going to shift if I don't shift. And so what am I doing? I'm going to knock out these workouts. Am I going to hit the full time? Maybe. Am I going to hit the full distance in that time? Maybe. But guess what? I'm touching the water, I'm going through, and I'm doing the motions to get better, to learn something. What I was doing before I did this while I was working, I was watching how-to swim videos. And guess what? I fucking learned a thing or two on what I can do to make my swim go better, on what I can do to maybe improve it a little bit. So I'm going to take the knowledge that I was listening to in that video, and I am going to apply it to this swim session and see how it goes. Try it out. Guess what? I'm still getting the reps in. I'm still getting it in. So I'm going to get better. Compounded interest, people. We're talking about it on the podcast. I've talked about it on here. Compound interest shows growth. It shows success. It tells a story. It shows the ups and downs. Compound interest is what you have to do day in and day out to keep propelling in life the way you want to. Now, the main message of this daily drive-by is around training. I heard this quote while I was on the bike the other day. I was watching some videos that were in tribal training, and they were talking about a quote by one of the members in tribal. And it said something along the lines of you can never speed up endurance workouts. And I'm going to leave it at that. That's way shorter than what it actually was. But what I took away is you can never speed up endurance workouts. Why is that important? That's important because you can go to the gym and you can lift weights and you can speed up a workout. You can knock out the reps and sets faster. You can kind of give up on it. You can really just like go through the motions and just like say, I checked the boxes. But guess what? A 50-minute run, it don't get no fucking faster the faster you run. It doesn't get done any quicker the faster you run. It doesn't get done any slower the slower you run. And so when you have endurance workouts programmed in, you truly have to plan your day accordingly. How am I going to get this in? What am I going to do? How am I going to fit it? Blah, blah, blah. There's all these different things. Work's over here. Dinner's over here. I got to have time for my fiance. I got to go to my friend's house. I got to grocery shop. All these things. You can't speed up that 50-minute run to be any faster. So the self-discipline that it takes to go out there and do something hard, which is running, but for an allotted amount of time, takes discipline. And it provides a different type of discipline in your life, unlike anything else. Unlike anything else. Majority of things we can speed up. We have a 30-minute call on our calendar for work. Guess what? We can speed that up. We can cover things faster. We got to get from point A to point B. We can usually speed that up if we need to. If we're, working on something, if we got to speed up grocery shopping, we can order it online, pick it up, have it delivered at our door. There's all these things that we can speed up in our life. But endurance training is one thing you can't speed up. And I finally feel as if I can speak on endurance training because I am doing it fucking 6 days a week. 6 days a week. And I'm getting more disciplined, and I'm getting faster, and I'm getting stronger, and I'm getting better, and I'm riding more miles, and I'm doing all these things. And so I feel, finally, I have flipped the switch in my life to say I am an endurance athlete. I still like working out more, but focusing on endurance right now. Endurance training has done something for me that I never thought it would. And I was thinking today in the shower, I was like, you know what? After this half Ironman is over, I'm going to continue biking. I'm going to continue running. I don't know if I'm going to continue swimming. But I was like, get that thought out of your head. You're going to go there. You're going to kill the swim today. You're going to get better. And so I was on the bike 3 days ago, on a 2-hour ride. And let me tell you, there is no speeding those workouts up. While I was on that bike, I started to get goosebumps because my main goal while I'm doing this endurance training, why I'm going through this Ironman event in the first place, is because I want to find a deeper meaning, purpose in me. I want to bring out the pain and the agony and the excitement and the rage and all these different emotions by being disciplined and doing these events. And so as I'm on the bike the other day, I started to get goosebumps and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. I don't think I've felt this mentally clear in a very long time. I don't think that I have felt this mentally good in a long time. I don't think my sleep schedule has been this dialed in a long time. I don't think that my work has performed this well in this amount of time. I don't think the stuff we're working on in DTI has ever been to this caliber. My relationship to this caliber. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking about it right now. I'm sitting on this bike and I'm like, oh, endurance training is having me see life through a different lens. It's having me observe things differently. It's no more like I have to do this. It's like, all right, I'm going to find a way to get this in, get this done. But what I've realized is that when you're out on these runs for this extended period of time, your emotions can go up and down. Some days the run feels amazing. When I was in Savannah, Georgia, running around that body of water, you would have thought I was on something. It was like euphoric. My body was having chills. I was just singing. I was into the run like I've never been into a run before, just taking in the scenery, feeling so good. But guess what? 3 days later, I was running, feeling like shit. I'm like, God, I don't want to be out here. I don't want to do this. But we got to get it done. And while I'm sitting on that bike for 2 hours, You notice things hurting a little bit. You're like, oh, I'm sore. God, I want to get off of this. I'm hot. But then you have time to reflect, and you have time to think about what your week looked like, what the next half of your day is going to look like. You look back on the month and you're like, damn, look at all these things that I've done. And so I started reflecting, and I started just thinking about this journey that I've been on, and things that I'm doing, and the progress that I'm seeing, and the mental images and clarity that I'm having around all these different goals and objectives that I want in life. And I really have to contribute it to endurance training, because this stuff is not hard. I am by myself. I think of it, and I'm a loner. Majority of my life is spent alone. And so when I sat back and I started thinking about this stuff, like 2-hour bike ride, doing it alone. 50-minute runs, hour runs, doing it alone. My 30, 40, 50-minute swims, I'm doing this alone. My gym sessions, I'm doing it alone. My work day, I'm doing it alone. The travel that I do every single week for work, I'm doing it alone. And I'm like, God, I'm spending a lot of time with myself, but why am I feeling so happy? And it's because outside of all of those things that I'm doing alone, I'm so much more intentional with where I'm spending my time, what I'm doing, the things that I'm focusing on, the ways that I'm talking to myself, the ways that I'm articulating things to people that I care about, the things in the background that I just like am pivoting and changing and working towards, and just all of these things have just heightened, because it's almost like they're like little chunks of gold. Like being able to sleep in my bed next to Lois, like, oh my God, this is amazing. Being able to cook dinner in my house is like a little chunk of gold, like, oh, this is amazing. Showering in my own shower, this is amazing. And I got asked not long ago, like, why aren't you doing stuff? Go out, have fun, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm having fun. I'm having the most fun in life than I've ever had, because I'm focusing on the things I want to focus on. I'm doing the things that I want to. And then when I get time to do other stuff, it's like, oh, it means so much when I see my friends and I hang out with them. When I go for a walk in the park, when I see Decky, like all of these little things, when I have conversations with my mom and sister over the phone, like I cherish those moments so much more, because everything in my life is so regimented in other areas. And when I say regimented, when I say that I'm a loner and I have all this time alone, like I'm not saying that as a complaint. All of this stuff is making me better. The work trips alone, making me better financially, making me better professionally, making me better because I can support, I can give, making me better because I can educate. The swim, bike, runs, the workouts, those are making me better because I'm showing up for myself, which means I can give more to other things. I can show up for my professional life better because I'm showing up for myself personally. I can show up for my family and friends better because I'm showing up for myself personally. And so all this time I'm reflecting on this bike ride, and I'm just realizing, like, man, would it be better if I could free up time here and do these things? And yes, it would. It would be great. But it's all about balance. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and I used the teeter-totter, whatever the fuck it is, teeter whatever. But I was talking about a teeter-totter. What a weird word. Wow. And I was giving them the analogy is that most people's teeter-totters are going boom, 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 boom. It's like when the fat girl at recess is sitting on the other end and you're like, what's up, baby? And she's like, oh my God, Jimmy! Jumps off and goes to see Jimmy, and you fall. And then she gets back on and shoots you back up in the air. Use your life, or look at your life, evaluate your life like a teeter-totter. Are the things on both ends kind of balancing themselves out? Or is one end like this, and this end is work? This end is the workouts. This end is the stuff that, like, you're putting way too much time in and you're not pulling out the deeper meaning, or you're not using it to elevate this end. And so now you're lacking, and you're not showing your girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance the attention they need. You're not giving your kids the attention they need. You're eating like shit because you're not able to focus on it, because you're spending too much time on the things over on this end. And then on top of that, Now there's arguments more. Now you got more headaches. Now you got all these things because you're putting too much attention on the stuff on one side of the teeter-totter. So when you think of this analogy, when you're thinking about your life, look at those big things that you do day in and day out, constantly. Are they balancing each other out? For me, it's like personally and professionally. Like, those are my two big things in life that I have to make sure go pretty damn good to make sure everything else does. And so am I splitting that time well? And if so, then that teeter-totter's balanced. If not, something's lacking on either end. And so use the teeter-totter analogy, use whatever analogy it is, a pendulum, whatever it could be for you that makes sense. But use that to be like, am I balancing my life correctly? Because at the end of the day, guess what? That job you work at, it'll fucking let you go in a heartbeat if it needs to. And they won't think twice. Those toxic relationships that you're keeping on, that shitty food that you keep eating, the lack of attention on your mental and physical health, like all of that stuff is playing a factor, so that way you can't be the person that you're meant to be because you're not balancing the teeter-totter. So that's all I got for you guys. It was longer than I thought it was going to be. Dylan might be right. These are like small podcast episodes, but I truly enjoy, and I hope you can feel my like charisma pouring out of these things because I enjoy getting on here. I enjoy talking, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit better at them because, again, they're my daily drive-bys. They're the thoughts that I have as I'm driving this lonely road. So I'm going to go into Lifetime, have a killer swim, and I want to make sure that you guys have a killer rest of your week. Think about what your big people are or big things are on your teeter-totter and make sure you're balancing those appropriately. So that way you're not giving one too much attention than the other one, and they can balance themselves out to make sure that you're living a happy and healthy lifestyle. That's all I want for you guys. That's all I got for y'all. Have the desire to inspire, motivate somebody else and yourself to just be a little bit better day in and day out. If you can do that and you can stick to the habits that you're outlining daily, you'll start winning the weeks. Once you start winning the weeks, you'll win the months, people. And once you start winning the months, you start winning the years, and that's when you really start winning in life. And I feel like I'm finally winning the years because of all of the years that I've built up these habits and the things that I'm doing daily. So that's all I got. Have the desire to inspire. We'll talk soon. Eso!